This is a CBS 3 Springfield Pinpoint Weather Alert.
We interrupt your coverage. Got to tell you about this. We have a tornado warning in effect right now. You know, very juicy air mass. And anytime we have these warnings, even if it does not mean a tornado is actually on the ground, we have got to bring this coverage to you now and keep you through it. So let's take a look at the live Doppler right now. And this is what we're talking about. This particular storm system is just entering the Hamden and Hampshire border. Now let's go ahead and go back to the tower cam, and we're continuing to watch something here right on the tower cam itself, and you can see those underbellies we talk about here. They can lengthen, they can deepen, they can go down further, you know, and may end up, touching the ground. We don't even want to talk about that, but. And that's what we've been watching. And remember, you may feel silly doing it, but we're only talking about 10-15 minutes, and it's all better.
Right, right. And there's no reason to be.
There you go.
Wow.
Take a look at that.
That's
We've got
incredible.
a debris cloud on the ground there. That indicates that there is a circulation going on within the cloud that is linking up with the ground right now. And that, folks, unfortunately, is what a tornado does. And that is what we're looking at going right across West Springfield currently on camera. And this is something that is really bad news. So the folks here out on Riverdale and out in West Springfield, you do not want to be watching this broadcast right now unless you are doing it from your basement. You don't want to call people on their landline phones either. You want to call cell phones. You want people in the basement with this particular storm. You do not want anybody outside. You don't want anybody in cars. You can see the flashing lights. You don't want to be on that bridge. You know better. And this is a situation we've been talking to you about for the last hour, and this is a situation we're going to continue to talk about until the threat passes. As you can see, this right here, this debris cloud, there could be dirt in there, there could be grass. It may not be something that's too bad, but look at the water being sucked up right now. You know this situation is serious, and it is something that means something, okay? You're going to be looking at this bridge. You don't want to be there. We are standing right now in Monarch Tower across the way from this tornado, and this is a real deal, folks. This is something that we talk about all the time and that you don't get to see. Well, you're seeing it right now, and this is why we tell people to be inside, because you don't want this to be you. And this is a big deal, and this is something we're going to continue to watch. There are cars on this bridge. This is a problem. We've been on the air for an hour now. You should know that this is something that is possible. You can see the debris hitting this camera as it goes down towards the south. Okay? This is a really bad situation. You really need to stay inside and aware. Now, fortunately, as you can see, the cars are still on the bridge, thank God. Okay? But this storm is possible that look at all the things that are being thrown up in the skies associated with it. This is something that is real. This is something that can really damage things. We could talk about shingles, we can talk about wood, we can talk about all sorts of things, but we could also talk about people. We do not want you to be out here in this, and this is going right through downtown Springfield as we speak. You may not hear lightning, you may not see a lot of heavy rain, but this is something that is really occurring. You saw it suck up a lot of the Connecticut River. It is passing by Monarch Place right now. Thank goodness it's not affecting our broadcast right from where we are, but we just managed to steer clear of this just barely. And this is something that is a really severe deal. And I'll tell you, the good news is with storms like this is the life cycle is often only about 7 minutes. Well, unfortunately, folks, this is a little stronger than that. This has been going on through Union Street in Westfield, and at times it was down and then it was up. Well, look what happened. We watched it form right in front of us here, and it continues to plow away and go further on toward the Wilbraham area as well, and we can certainly see all sorts of damage. I think everybody's going to call in with their own story on this particular situation. You've got the siren just coming up, at least in here, for our own building, letting us know that this is a bad situation. Fortunately for us, a lot of the real bad weather could be passed by, but this is a tornado. This is live. This is happening now. They're telling us right now in our own building what we need to do. Well, fortunately for us, it is just past our building, but that does not mean that the worst is over. I mean, take a look at this thing. Sometimes it can be stationary too. Okay? We tell you about this severe thunderstorm. Springfield's got 175,000 people living in it. This is a big deal. You watched it form right here on CBS 3 Springfield, and the bad weather just continues to get nasty. Even as it heads over to the Wilbraham area, you got a lot of colleges out that way. You may have people you know that aren't accustomed to watching the weather anytime bad weather happens. Well, you know what? they think the roof may have come off Bunker Hill School. This particular tornado, and any tornado, has the possibility of doing these very things, so we need to keep an idea on it. And we have some very strong returns out toward the Wilbraham area, out ahead of this particular storm, and that's where you can see your heavy hail. We've had reports of heavy hail. You saw the palm-sized hailstones. You don't want to be out there in this kind of mess. And as you can see, this thing can bust gas lines. It can knock roofs down. It can do all sorts of things that can happen with this particular storm. You notice the sky cam is kind of getting behind the satellite dishes and all of that, but this storm is still active. It is still on the ground. It is still a huge deal, and this is something you just don't see often, of going right through a big city. This is not Oklahoma City. This is Springfield. You think it's not supposed to happen here, but you know what? It is happening here. So all the folks toward 291 straight down through Wilbraham, this is not the time to say, oh, let me get to see it too. I want to go outside and look. No. You get inside, you get to your basement, and you wait. We'll show you about it later. You can see it here now, but you better not be watching this if you're in Wilbraham. Just don't even bother. Just go downstairs. We'll take care of it. You'll see it later. You can see it now, and this particular storm system is a big deal. Now, as far as assessing how strong it actually was, that comes later. We're not even worrying about that now. And as you can see, it is still moving to the east, and it is still something that we're going to be covering for you until the threat stops. Until it stops, we got to stay with it here, and it's for a reason, and you saw that reason. And we have a lot of bad weather here, and as you can see here right now, Palmer, Bondsville, Munson, Brimfield, and I got to tell you, got to go to this right now, okay? I want to show you the sky cam across Memorial Bridge. All these cars, I'm telling you, they didn't drive there, they didn't want to go there. Tornado put them there, okay? Being here is better than being here, but it is a big mess and a big problem. And you can see how strong these tornadoes are. It takes nothing. It takes nothing in seconds to take these cars, spin them together, whether people are in them or not. And unfortunately, we're going to have plenty more of these stories to tell as we go on in the coming days, and everybody may have a story. But what we want are less stories involving real people outside.
Now, today's top stories on tomorrow's full forecast in the first 5 minutes.
A day after a tornado carved its path of destruction through Springfield and surrounding towns, residents begin to pick up the pieces. CBS 3 Springfield's Matthew Campbell is live from Six Corners, where residents are finding it hard to do. Matt.
Jennifer, you know, it is hard. You know, you wake up one day with your life right in front of you, and then just hours later, it's all gone. We're here on Beach Street tonight, and this used to be a house. I want you to take a look at this rubble here. That used to be the door, that used to be the roof, and looking all up and down this street, it's just more of the same. Now, these houses are still standing, but none of them are livable. Kevin Dumpson is boarding up and packing up. Unlike his neighbors, his house isn't flattened, but like most of them, his home is unlivable.
That window blew out. Well, I have those windows boarded up now, but they blew out. The glass blew through this way. I don't know, it must have been a whirlwind in here because everything's blown so many different ways.
In a matter of seconds, Kevin's life also was blown to bits.
What few belongings I do have on earth, they're valuable to me.
In surveying the damage, there's not much left. But there is this.
I fly my colors.
Flying proudly amongst the tornado-torn street is this American flag. But this flag, too, has seen destruction more than once.
I found my flag buried under the rubble. I don't know how it was blown outside of the house. And, but that's the same flag. So it represented at 9/11, and it represented today out here.
Serving in the Army, Kevin saw Ground Zero up close. And now he's living through Ground Zero in Springfield.
It's not a 9/11, but it's a 9/11 to us, I'd say.
Forced to start all over again, Kevin looks to the flag. It stands as a symbol of strength and reassurance, even when those here may be at their weakest.
What we stand for and how I believe we're resilient people and that we'll be okay one way or another, sooner or later.
And here is that flag still standing tall. Again, we are here on Beach Street, and a lot of these homes are going to be knocked down in the coming days as the city continues to rebuild. Live here from Six Corners, Matthew Campbell, CBS 3 Springfield.